The Fan.
Shall we begin?
Football Feast.
Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
The season can't end like that! Bullseye!
Wow, wasn't that fun?
Oh, no!
9 to noon.
This is an old-fashioned ass-kicking right here.
And that's a fact.
It's the Friday Football Feast. PA is off today. Paul Charching with you. Eric Nordquist by my side. Not literally. The other side. We are separated by 6 inches of bulletproof glass.
Correct.
Which is a good thing.
It's typically planned that way.
It is, because it frequently does devolve into gunplay at some point over the course of the 3 hours. And then that is the voice of Chad Greenway, 52. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you in.
I love starting the show. I love jumping on right away. No PA. We can do whatever we want. It's like we're running the thing around here.
Well, which is honestly the way it should be, if you ask me. I mean, if PA were here right now, we'd already be talking about, I don't know, poking, tickling. PA. Talking about PA. So, yeah, right. Exactly. Let me tell you guys what I love about 4th of July weekend, which I'm considering this 4th of July weekend. Which it kind of is. Do most people work Mondays?
I was just thinking about that on the way in. Like, so if 4th of July is on a Wednesday,
then
do you just get both weekends and the week?
Yeah, I think most people take the 4 days off and then they get 9 days off, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I've never had, thankfully, in my life, ever had a job where I've had to work over the 4th of July, because even in football, you were always off, always chilling.
This is the dead
But
time.
I'm curious, generally curious, like Tuesday's got to be a great day of the week for a 4th, because you get basically starting today, and then you all the way through. But you went back to work on Wednesday? I doubt it. You already checked out kind of weekend coming anyways. Might as well just ride this thing out.
We have a couple of live shows on Monday. So
do we?
Kevin Fallness will be in here. It'll be hockey heavy, 9 to noon, and then Dave Sinekin, noon to 3.
Oh, Sinekin, so it's just filler. It's Sinekin, so it's Packer filler. We don't really care. Rodgers is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, Loserville, USA.
4th of July. Can you think of anything less American than Dave Sinekin talking about the Packers for 3 hours on our air?
It's a 3-hour visit Wisconsin infomercial, essentially, noon to 3.
That's so bad.
Maybe they bring Culver's in. There's some positives there.
There's that.
Like Culver's and Quick Trip. Couple of great things.
Couple of great Wisconsin
things.
things.
Is legitimately awesome.
I do enjoy that drive on 94 across Wisconsin, because you can hit a Culver's every exit, other than people driving in the left lane for too long and not getting over. That whole thing sucks. And dead deer everywhere.
There's a Culver's, and then there's a Hardee's in Toma, where there's a Love's off the side of 94. Always got to stop there.
I don't know about the Hardee's thing. I haven't been to a good Hardee's in 20 years.
No such thing.
No, that's a ridiculous opinion, but that's
we love Quick Trip here, especially. We don't have Loves in Minnesota. Most other states around us have Loves.
Albert Lee has one.
There's one up.
Have you never driven south on 35 to Iowa?
I think it's
many times.
Okay.
I've done it in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, well then,
yes.
Albert Lee, the
And
big
Albert Lee's
exit
got
past
one?
90.
Okay.
If you ever get up near, maybe it's Stacy, Minnesota, or if you hit 36, if you wanted to cut up and hit over and go towards like St. Croix and stuff like that, or Turtle Lake
Is
area.
there Loves up there?
There's a Loves in Minnesota, yeah.
Loves is awesome. And there are a couple of things I love about Loves. Number one, immaculately clean.
Love that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Love that about Loves.
That's a big one.
Number two, many of them have a fenced-in dog area. So for us, we travel with our dogs a lot. I can take the dogs out, and I've got some place where they don't even have to be on a leash. They can go run around and burn off energy after they've been in the car for 3 hours.
I've not seen that. That's impressive.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Third thing I love about Loves. Many of them, not many, I would guess 20% of them have got available on-site, now that I own a camper, you can park there and even overnight in their lot with your camper.
So she doesn't find a Walmart.
That's the old Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
It is like the Walmart parking lot theory.
My father-in-law's a legend at finding Walmarts. He just
go there.
Freebies.
See, the beauty of it is...
Blindfolded.
It just goes itself.
He knows.
Yeah.
The beauty of it is, in my camper, I have my bed, my sheets, all my stuff, right? Or I could go spend $150 for a motel room plus a $50 dog fee, and I could spend $200 to sleep in a Best Western, right? And my trailer's right outside, and I'd rather be in my trailer in my camper.
Call it, you've gone trailer and camper.
Camper.
So,
I prefer camper. Because trailer can mean anything. It could be a horse trailer.
Well, you said it. I'm just asking.
No, I know.
I was looking for clarity on that. Because
it's my mistake.
It's a big discussion point.
Can't you just go fifth wheel? Can't you just say fifth wheel? And that's kind of all encompassing?
It's not a fifth wheel. I am a pull behind. I mean, fifth wheel is also pull behind, but that's where you mount it in the bed.
Yeah, mount it back.
One of those old pop-up bits?
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's not a pop-up.
Okay.
Because those are the tiny little guys that pop up into the... No.
What brand is it?
It's called an Ibex. It's made by Forest River. It's a small brand. Most people know like Jayco is a big brand.
Yeah.
People know that.
Airstream.
Yeah, Airstream. Airstream is... I didn't know this. Because the Airstreams all look like they're from the 1950s. But it turns out Airstream is like the cream of the crop of RVs.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Have you ever seen those? I think Mercedes makes one where it's like the van.
Oh, yeah. The Sprinter is huge. Yes.
Why didn't you go that route?
Well, because of the dogs. So the Sprinter is so small that I need space enough for me, my wife, sometimes my daughter, 2 dogs.
You're saying to sleep in.
Well, and to travel in and everything else. They're just not
you're traveling in your vehicle. It's a tow behind.
Yeah, we travel in that, and then we...
Right, so it makes no sense, is what I'm saying.
No, because I've got a 28-foot trailer that I can then go into.
And you had to say the length just to brag.
No, 28.
For those of you who can't afford a 28-foot trailer, Charch can.
28's actually not that big.
I know.
When we're talk to me when we're 38 foot, right? Now we're talking.
I'm not a camper guy, RV guy. It's not.
Chad, I never was
never
either.
grew up doing that.
A year ago, I wasn't either.
We did rent a 38-footer once. That was actually pretty fun for 4 days, 5 days. It was a good time.
Did you take the kids?
Took the kids. Took everybody. It was awesome.
Now, is it the kind
but I still want to own it.
You drove it. It's the kind where you drive in it. You weren't
was
pulling
it class D? Diesel.
D. Okay, D.
Diesel's D.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Those are super fun. I think that's super fun. And then you go to
It was fun to not own it.
Right. You didn't, right. Because how much where your kids are and how busy your kids are and how all the different things you guys are doing.
Although we travel a lot for youth sports across the Midwest, so maybe that's the way to do it.
Dang. You might, if you're driving, then yes, you've got all your stuff.
Hit me up on Twitter if you own a company that has a camper.
Right.
Maybe a RV, and maybe we'll just do a deal. Maybe we'll do a deal.
You should do a deal. I mean, so you can...
I'm going to Chicago in like a week. Be perfect.
Well,
they wouldn't mind parking that in the Hyatt downtown.
We'll rent you one right now. I can tell you that much.
For sure.
For sure, they'll rent you one. The beauty of it would be you've got sleeping accommodations for everybody built into it. You don't have to worry about where you're staying, what you're paying, all that stuff. You've got all of your stuff in it, your bedding, all the creature comforts that you want, your whatever. And all that stuff's in it. And, the kids are at an age where they can sleep on these bunks easy.
Yeah.
I mean, adults can sleep in the bunks.
Mm-hmm.
So, this could be.
I also like the idea, like if you're going through the mountains or you're going through, like you're going by the beach, like you get the best spots in a lot of cases that is like multi-million-dollar property and there's just a bunch of RVs and campers sitting there.
Right. Yeah.
Like I was just
Drive
out in California this week, driving through Camp Pendleton, going north out of San Diego, and like on your left, there's like you literally can't go on Camp Pendleton except for this RV campground is awesome right on the beach.
Yeah, it makes a certain amount of sense for you. It really does. Now RVs,
think about it.
All of the RVs, the campers, the Class A, the Class B, they all depreciate quickly. If you buy one that's 2 years used and it's got like 5,000 miles on it, you'll pay 60% of what whoever bought it.
So you're saying buy used?
Buy a 2-year-old camper. Go.
Is Class C the diesel?
Class C, I think, is the kind where where you're driving and you're like right up on the glass and there's no engine in front of you and you're
somebody's screaming at us through the radio right now.
Yeah, I should know all the class stuff, but I don't know for sure. I'm not very good about that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, the Class A, Class B.
What was it that you loved about 4th of July again?
What I love about 4th of July in this town is this: we got the place to ourselves.
Yeah.
There's nobody here.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's up north. At this time last year, I did an epic rant about cabins, and I'm not going to do it again, although I was tempted to dust it off. And how crazy I think you guys are. But I hope you love your cabins. And I'm not even going down. But we've got the city to ourselves.
Correct.
We've got today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, mostly to ourselves. You want to get a great table at your favorite restaurant? No problem. You want to go to a movie without rubbing elbows with the person next to you? No problem. I did that last night. We get
rubbing elbows or going to the movie?
Going to the movie. There was also some rubbing involved.
See, I'm big into the inverted travel. So it's 4th of July. Everybody's going someplace.
Yeah.
This is my stay home weekend.
Right on, baby.
Whereas we're going to do stuff in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. We're going to get out of town. I was out of town last weekend. That sort of thing. So trying to balance that out. I mean, the roads were beautiful coming in, and everything's going to be open over the weekend. That's the best way to do travel during the 4th.
Couple critiques. I feel like we need to see way more American flags, way more pride.
Yes.
In our country, in this state, in this region, this area, in the metro specifically. But I liked your point. As I stay here, our house is here.
Yeah.
Fortunate enough to be on the lake, and we'll be here and not traveling, which is again. It's awesome because there's nobody around, to your point. Everybody, and just jump on 94 today, see how your life's going to be.
Now, in your case, Lake Minnetonka, which can be a zoo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it can be flooded with, boats and jet skis and people getting, people don't water ski much anymore, I don't think as much. But, all that stuff, all the buzz on the lake, it's got to be way down.
I think it'll still be pretty busy.
No, it's all about the timing of it. So if, like during the week, like it'll be chill, but weekend, night times, evenings, it'll be crazy. Yep.
Loved it.
Class A is bus style. Class C is with the bed above the cab.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Class
Appreciate
A.
that. That might have been somebody who texted into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line at 64686. Very possibly helping us with that. I appreciate that. You don't need the Class C with the bed above the bunk in many cases if it's big enough, because you'll have enough bunks. So you've got the 4 kids and the 2 of you. Almost all of these sleep 6.
Yeah. So it's like the perfect size.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I think you should do it. It's going to be a whole new thing for you. Seriously, this could be how you get around to all. You're just at the beginning of all of your college tours.
I feel like
you're just starting these things.
I feel like the Sprinter van's the way to go.
It's too tight for 6. Way too tight for 6. Way too tight for 6. And it literally can't sleep 6.
Or are you driving it to the destination and then a hotel? I think that's perfect. Those Sprinter vans are sweet, and you can get those customized where you can drive.
They're not cheap. I saw that.
No, they're not.
It depends on what's on the inside, but you're right. They can be $250,000.
Yeah.
I was coming back from Breezy this weekend. I saw one. He's got a ladder on the side of it, and then he has a pop-up tenting bit on top of the Sprinter.
Yeah, he has 4 kids.
So he's up in the hills somewhere, and lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, he's on top of the Sprinter, seeing the sights, safely away from danger.
Now, there's been, not to turn this into our RV hour, although we already have, the game changer is Elon Musk and Starlink. Because now, almost everybody.
I'm a happy customer.
I didn't know that. You're a Starlink guy right now.
Starlink customer.
So for your house?
Nope.
No, for where?
Farm.
Oh, for the farm.
Yeah.
So how well is it working
literally
for you?
Ideal for the farm.
Yeah,
it couldn't be any better. Good. It was easy to put up. Put on the back side of the barn. can't see it really unless you're really looking for it.
Yeah.
And it's worked excellent. I mean, we've had no drop in quality of service at all.
So get this. Federally, Joe Biden just announced that they're going to dedicate the next 7 years and I believe $30 billion to trying to wire up rural America to the internet. At a cost of a per person cost of, if I remember this right, it scrolled by my Twitter account, of around $5,000 per household. Starlink costs $600.
Yeah.
And it's going to take 7 years to roll this out federally. Starlink is $600.
So a lot of states must be behind because I know growing up in South Dakota, literally in the middle of nowhere, with, 5 people lived in our square mile, my family.
You had infrastructure in the house?
We had internet. Yeah, we had everything.
I think you were lucky.
Santel, I think, was the company that brought it there. But also, my grandmother was a public utilities commissioner for the state, in the 80s and 90s.
That might have had something to do with it.
Well, not to our house, but she grew up even further out in the middle of South Dakota and out on the western side where nobody's out there.
Right.
And she made it a focus and priority to link farmers and get people access to the internet.
Hugely important.
So I'm curious where that'll all go.
We have so many.
Well, guarantee they don't have a plan. They just have a way to spend the money.
Well, not yet. They got 7 years to figure it out. I'm just saying, okay, at 1/10 of the cost, and you can buy it today. If it's going to have to be taxpayer funded anyway, why don't we do it at 1/10 of the cost and give all these farmers Starlink? And now they're up and running.
Yep. I don't know.
I think it's a great idea. And $30 billion today, 7 years from now, we'll find out it
wasn't enough. We got to add more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Usually how most projects like that go.
Yeah.
We have so many stations on the fan radio network, Chad, that are outstate stations, right? We've got Brainerd and Bemidji and Duluth, and I can assure you,
Marshall and Worthington.
Thank you, Marshall, Worthington. I can assure you, they're listening right now, going, "We don't have any internet." They're dialing up AOL.
Of course they are. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, they really need it. They're just shoving money.
Using stone tablets too.
Somebody's just siphoning that money somewhere. That's how that's going to go.
It could very well be that way. When we come back, I've got a bunch of stuff. I got some football stuff for you. Although honestly, now I'm all jazzed up about getting you into a new RV. That would be awesome. Get you an RV over the course of this show.
I'll say the Twins need to turn this around because this summer sports season is going to be long.
It's going to be long.
We got to start winning here.
1.5 runs a game.
Yeah, we're pouring as many gray ducks up in the deck as possible.
You need them.
We need them right now, and we need them for different reasons.
Yeah,
we got to turn this thing around.
A lot of truth to that. More with Chad Greenway when we come back.
Is home for football.
Welcome back. Friday Football Feast. Paul Charch and Eric Nordquist. Chad Greenway here for another segment. What's the last video game you played?
Well, Nintendo DS, Mario Kart.
Okay.
So a handheld.
The handheld, yeah.
That was... I still have a Nintendo DS that has
you didn't throw it away.
An active Mario Kart game.
Okay. Now,
I did lose my last one. We played that when we traveled. So we traveled, we'd link up, and we'd play Mario Kart. That was a blast. We had some great years doing that.
Yeah.
Just as a time waste in between just waiting or meetings or whatever.
How much money on the line?
0.
What?
We never got into that in the locker room, really.
There was never $5 on this game of Mario Kart?
No, not in that capacity. I mean, definitely some dice being thrown, things,
right.
Card games for the little things here or there, but nothing. Yeah. There was some early in my career, there were some large card games being played.
Really?
Large financial contributions or losses.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
On a hand or in totality?
Blu-ray,
one flight home?
card game.
Wow.
Nuts.
Wow.
So but for me personally, we used to DS, but I grew up on the N64 a little bit, playing Bond and playing MLB baseball, GoldenEye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I'm not a video game at all.
No.
Our kids don't play video games. We have a Wii that's like 1 million years old.
The Wii is 20 years old.
Yeah, we literally have like the original, I think.
Yeah.
But kids don't play video games. I'm not a video game guy at all.
I think they're
your kids
useless. Are all athletes, and they're all very successful.
I think they're a bit of a useless time waste in every capacity, unless you're the one making hundreds of millions of dollars, which we were just talking about. Like there's streamers, and then there's people making money, professionals, which is crazy to me. But I get it. There's a huge market for it.
Huge market.
Just not for me. I think for my kids aren't ever going to do that. Well, I never want them to either.
If at some stage of their life, not as children, if that's how they want to recreate with their free time, fine. But as kids, you've got them booked, and they're athletes.
Well, it's such a time suck, though. You think about the phone as a time suck when you're on social media, just owning your day and owning. I limit myself. I told you I limit myself on social media because this is just a time suck. It's dumb. I can do stuff and be productive and talk to people and be a dad and be a husband and So it's it was very good for me to do that because immediately I get the limit. I'm like, I've been on Twitter for 30 minutes. That's my limit, 30 minutes. I'm out.
A day or a week or a month?
A day. Yeah.
That sounds healthy.
But again, I think just another way for them to, I want them to interact with humans live. And I think there's so many kids these days that have a hard time carrying a conversation in person, looking somebody in the eye and relating to somebody. And so I don't want my kids to be that.
Many people would say, sure, when we grew up, school let out, and then we all met in the backyard and we played football and we did stuff we'd play with each other, stuff like that. You did.
The Greenways didn't.
You were on a farm.
Yeah. My sisters beat me up and then we worked.
I like that. Now a lot of kids, they go to their separate houses, put on their headphones, and they talk while they're playing video games. And so they're playing video games, but they're also, interacting and talking and doing that stuff.
You'll never get me to agree in a million years that that's better.
Better than this. Sitting on your phone and just silently sitting on your phone and going through Twitter or Discord or whatever.
It is 1,000% better than that.
This is better than that because at least you're still interacting with people.
It's just different levels of suck, but yeah, it's better than that.
It's better than that.
Yeah.
But that's what most kids are doing, right? Mm-hmm. Their free time's on their phone.
Yep. It's wild. Yeah. And it's even in our home, it's like it's completely monitored by time. It's like you need to get out. You're not going to be in your room. You're not going to be sitting on your phone endlessly, scrolling or texting or whatever. It's like, get out. Actually, you know what? Go do your chores and interact with your sisters, whatever.
What was the worst chore you had to do?
We didn't have chores. We had like real chores. Right. So like the worst one on the farm.
It's got to involve poop. One way or another, it's got to involve poop.
Anything with the pigs, man. The pigs were great for us to have because it was a more of a consistent check on the farm rather than cattle. You sell once. Your herd has baby calves, and then you raise them and you feed them, and then all of a sudden they're gone in one day. You sell basically the whole herd in a day, and they're gone.
Right, and then that's going to last you
it's one check
for months
and then
months
obviously
and months.
With grain, it's hit or miss, and it's harvest unless you sell futures, and you can sell grain from your bin or whatever throughout the year and kind of supplement. But the pig were a consistent thing, so from a farmer's standpoint, it was really nice to have because you actually had money coming in.
Yeah.
But man, it just always smelled like a pig. My hands always smelled like a pig. You tried to toothpaste, you tried mouthwash and all this craziness.
What'd you have to do with the pigs?
Well, load the pigs when they're done being raised. Feed. When they were young, we had our own babies. So sows had baby piglets, and we had to clean the pens and haul grain and everything. And then when I got older, we had a confinement barn, so we didn't have the babies on site. We had them off site, moved them in. So you're moving them in.
Why did you have to separate the babies from their parents?
Well, just so they can then grow faster, raise, and then go to market, essentially. So you pull them off, you wean them off of their mother at a certain point anyways.
Yeah.
And then you just wean them off, and then you start to feed them and get them in common pens, and then you eat them.
Baby pigs are so adorable.
They're adorable.
And grown pigs are so disgusting.
Except when you're doing teeth and tails, and for those of you out there who know what I'm talking about, baby pigs are cute, but then if you got to take the teeth off and the tail off, otherwise they'll bite each other and create a bunch of issues, and they'll bite the tails off, so you actually nip the tails.
Shut up.
Yep.
So did you have to nip tails?
I was the holder.
Okay.
I was the holder for my mom and dad that did that
way.
work. Yep. So just this position. I'm super strong right here.
Yeah.
Just in this position.
Right there.
Yeah.
Holding onto the pig.
Yeah. And then
that's gotta hurt.
Cleaning, shoveling the good stuff, shoveling stuff and cleaning pens and then away you go. So we got rid of them and then went to where we would get the pigs at like 10 pounds, and then we would raise them up to 280 pounds, sell them off, and so just smelled all the time.
Now, if you're in,
Smells like money, they say.
If you're in the cattle business, you've got the bull. Is there
multiple bulls? Yeah,
multiple bulls in many cases. Okay,
some people artificially do that, but
now with the pigs, is there a boar or I don't know, whatever the male pig that is like your Uber pig?
Yep, multiple boars. Depends on how big your herd is.
Sort of ran. They ran the.
Yep, you put them in at a certain time when they're in heat, and then you take them out so they don't stick around, and they kind of live separately.
Okay,
carrying that thing around.
I bet. I got one football thing for you. Maybe more. This week, Travis Kelce said that 80% of NFL players use marijuana. Do you think that number is high, low, or about right?
Based off my experience or now?
Just based on your experience, everything that you know.
80%. I think that's a pretty good number. I'd guess around that, 75 to 80%.
80%?
Yep.
Okay, so you think that number is about right?
Yeah.
There have been others that have said the same thing. Martellus Bennett said it was around 80%. Ricky Williams, who said, who knows a lot about this subject.
4 and 5, yeah. I think that's about right.
About 4 and 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the NFL only tests for marijuana one time a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's when training camp starts. That's the new deal.
You know exactly when it's coming.
You know when it's coming.
Yeah.
And so all you have to do...
For you to get popped with this is
you get popped with it now, right? You might have a problem.
It's the silliest thing of all time. Yeah.
Yes.
So how does it? Wait. So it's a league-wide thing. So what happens now is all these states become
doesn't
legal.
matter.
It doesn't matter because
it does not matter. This is a league thing. So even if your state is legal, you still are going to get tested right around August 1st.
I mean, you always knew it was coming.
Take 2 weeks off.
The steroid or performance enhancing stuff was random.
They still do.
I can remember being in it's always new. You had to share your travel schedule. Because you had to be by your phone, you had to respond. That was the one thing you had to be alert. You can't just I'll call them back in a couple of days. No, it's now.
Yeah.
And I've done them. I did tests all over the place, all over the country, in Vegas and Phoenix, just random calls. You're like, what? Got to go meet this person or drop this urine off. It's just wild.
Now, was it all in season or was it off season too?
Oh, off season too.
Off season too.
Yep.
Yeah.
In season was nice because you just come to the facility and it was always facilitated right there. But in off season, you might be traveling with your family and all of a sudden you get a call and then you got to meet the NFL representative in that city. And then hand them over your pee. And, drop the drawers and pee in front of them. This is just all good stuff.
Yeah, I think from a weed perspective.
Thanks, Ontario Smith.
Which I began to really just have a lot of fun with.
I want to say,
it's so uncomfortable. How do you not?
See, I think I'd freeze up. I think I'd have stage fright. I don't think I've ever
early on you do, but then you get real used to it after a while.
Really?
I mean, look at these.
Did you ever?
I was tested a lot. Let's be honest. Look at these things.
Did you ever intentionally get a little on the rim of the cup?
Oh, I did all sorts of nonsense at all times. Yeah, there's basically not one time where I did it where I wasn't being a complete idiot. But
I want to see the NFL do what the NBA did and effectively just completely decriminalize it and play dumb to it. I'd rather guys were smoking weed maybe than using some of the narcotics and some of the painkillers and stuff.
The narcotics and painkiller thing is also a massive issue. And they've done a good job of cracking down on that as far as be able to transport that stuff across state lines. And there's a lot of things that changed during my career when it comes to that. Because you would see guys self-medicating all the time.
Oh,
and it was just because they're hurt, they're trying to get through the next day, whatever it might be. And not egregiously, these guys are just drones walking around because they're medicated, but they would take care of themselves. And it was it was interesting to see it sometimes, but no, it wasn't ever over the top or crazy. But I'm glad they cracked down because that can become a massive problem, as we all know. We've all been impacted by addiction and that kind of stuff, and it's not a good thing.
How do you end up with the job of collecting pee from other people?
Let's see.
I mean, nobody's like a young kid. You're like, oh, Billy, what do you want to do when you grow up? Tyler, what do you want to do?
Almost always seem to be
I want to collect the
There's
urine
a 4-year program
of other men.
Yeah. It always seem to be retired police officers or retired folks who are just trying to do something on the side that makes some cash. Because it's not a physically demanding job. You sit there, watch, collect, and go. Pretty easy. So what really got you frustrated is when you were super hydrated, especially during football season. You're trying to stay hydrated so you don't pull a muscle or whatever. And it would be too clear, it'd be too hydrated because they think you're trying to dilute it.
Oh.
So then you have to wait and then do another test. And when you get
some guy eyeballs it and goes, this is too clear.
They test it, and they say, no, we can't get enough of a sample for, I don't know what the test is, but
the pH level's off.
Something, something where you had to retest it. So then you had have to wait and go work out or come back from practice. Else. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing with diuretics too. The diuretics that was it the Williams, Pat Williams maybe, or somebody got
Pat Williams never took a diuretic. It's impossible.
But it was
no, I'm kidding.
But it was the idea that their urine was just the purest, most clearest, just the most beautiful. You could drink it
Because
it
there's times like when I'd wake up and you weren't even trying to have a pee test, but there's also the things like when you have to take one, you want to have to go. Yeah. Otherwise, you're sitting there waiting, you're frustrated, you're drinking water. It's like so you would always be prepared if you knew it was coming, even if you had a little bit of time. And also, you're trying to hydrate, so like you'd have super clear urine. Like this doesn't work.
This is
like perfect.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Well, it happens because people cheat the system all the time.
Well, yeah.
I mean that's the problem.
Ontario Smith being the obvious case,
exactly.
Right? I mean, that's now they got to watch you.
Just craziness out there.
That is. What's going on with Grey Duck that we should know about?
Well, it's 4th of July week. So as everybody knows who's had our seltzer, this is the money time for our seltzer. 4th of July, go grab a Quack Pack or our original, the OG, the Bamba original pack. Go grab those. Muddled is out in stores. So the launch has gone really well. The hardest part right now is our distribution network is not expansive.
Yeah.
So when you walk in, please ask for it. If it's not there, please have them order it. This product is unbelievable. I've loved it since day one. We started talking about doing this thing, and the product is super clean, easy to pour on ice and drink. It's perfect for take it to a party, a 4th of July party, because you can bring it, just pour it on ice. It's super simple to make, and you have a craft cocktail at your hand. So
give me the name of it again.
Muddled.
Is it just muddled? That's it?
Muddled. Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Boom.
So
easy.
My wife and I were talking about it when we went camping. We had blueberries.
You need muddled.
We did. That's what we were. This is how it came up. We made our own muddled drink out of what we had in our camper. We had blueberries.
That's fun sometimes.
We had Fresca and we had Grey Duck because you've been nice enough to give me Grey Duck, right?
Yes. So we sell it too, Charch. I think you probably have enough money in your wallet. You could probably go buy a bottle too. But that's neither here nor there.
But fortunately,
you don't just drink the free ones. You don't drink just the free ones. Is my point.
So we muddled in the blueberries with the Fresca and the Grey Duck together.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Amazing.
And we were like, this should be.
First of all, Fresca whales. Fresca's
really
always good.
It is.
Grey Duck's clean. Yes. And you muddle the blueberries properly.
Yes.
You release that in the drink.
I didn't have a mortar and pestle, but we muddled with a spoon and it worked out great. And we're like, this should be one of Chad's muddled flavors. Should
the
be
Charchy.
That's right. That's our version of it right there.
Love it. Let's make it this week.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We'll be back in a minute. Coming up next, I want to talk to you a little bit about we are going to do some Pauper's Palace. We're going to, Caesar's Palace, Pauper's Palace. Coming up in moments, we'll find out a little bit more about what that.
0.3 KFAN.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. Got a whole lot of money that's ready to burn, so get those stakes up higher. There's 1,000 pretty women waiting out there. They're all living the devil may care, and I'm just of despair. So viva Las Vegas, viva Las Vegas. How I wish that there were more than 24 hours in the day. Even if there were 40 more, I wouldn't sleep a minute away. Oh, there's blackjack and poker and the roulette wheel, a fortune won and lost on every deal. All you need is a strong heart and a nerve of steel. Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas!
Welcome back, 9 to noon. And just as a reminder, we will broadcast your podcast. All you got to do, go to KFAN.com and you go to the contest page. You'll find a link for it. You upload your best 20 to 30 minutes. And if Chad Abbott likes it, he's taken his entire July 4th holidays dedicated to listening to your sports or even non-sports podcast. If it's funny and interesting, we want it. And it'll be broadcast on The Fan on Saturdays at 2:30 p.m. So send those, KFAN.com. Go to the contest page. Actually, later on in the show, I'm going to play something from one of our podcast winners, Charch. And I'm looking. So, again, hey, if you think that our sports opinions are terrible, or you agree.
Which is objectively true.
Yes, in most cases, I should say. And you think you're funnier or more interesting than we are, there's
also,
no reason.
Probably true.
Absolutely, 100% true there. you have an opportunity to be on the Fan. Broadcast your podcast at KFAN.com, the contest page. Now, I played Viva Las Vegas. You mentioned it into the break. There is Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And
Fan, been there long. Now, question about Caesar's Palace, and you may know the answer, Nordo, and others may as well. For years and years, they had the moving walkways that went into Caesar's Palace and no moving walkways to go out. You had to walk yourself out. They'll express you in.
Yeah.
You got to walk yourself out.
The last time I was there, the last time it was almost like airport style. At least the airports have us running both ways. The last time I was there, they had them. But I haven't been to Caesars in 5 or 6 years now.
I know.
So I don't know if they still have
You know who's ruined us? It's Windjam. Has ruined it. We're all at Planet Hollywood now.
Yeah. No, he's converted us.
Yes.
And that's why we love him.
Yeah.
Now he is, I believe he works under the Caesars umbrella. That's kind of the thing too, is as cool as the Strip is, and each different, these are resort-sized properties,
correct,
that have their own personalities and own unique parts. They're owned by like 3 companies. It feels like
Vegas
all
is
Vegas,
owned by 3 companies.
Like
now.
downtown now, I think it's Derek Stevens who owns the D, and then Circa, and there's a handful of people that basically own all those spots in Las Vegas.
Well, corporate entities now, mostly.
Yes, massive corporate entities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't have the answer on Caesars, but that's what 64686 the text line is for.
I would like to know. If somebody knows, that would be great.
They've corrected us 8 times already, so I anticipate more corrections along the way, and we're happy to have them.
Hey, before we get too deep into Pauper's Palace, because we were talking about Saturday programming, let me mention Fantasy Football Weekly returning the second Saturday in August, which is like, I don't know, the 9th, but also, maybe more importantly, the Fantasy Football Training Camp is coming back. We've been gone since the pandemic.
So 2019 is the last time you did it.
I think it was 2019 was the last time we did the Fantasy Football Training Camp.
And is that still down at Canterbury?
It is not. We have a new home.
Oh,
Treasure Island.
Oh!
Treasure Island. Yes.
Above average at that.
Very excited for this. So we'll do the live broadcast of Fantasy Football Weekly, August 12th, Treasure Island. And so it'll be the live over-the-air bit. Then we'll do off-air stuff. And Scott Fish, who's one of my co-hosts, and he's great at organizing leagues, tells me that he wants to do live drafts during the event, which we've never done before. So you show up, you might find yourself in a Scott Fish league, you might find yourself in a guillotine league. You can draft on site, on premises.
On site, kind of similar. I mean, obviously different, but at the state fair each and every year, you guys would do that little snake draft bit.
Yeah, on air. This would all be off air,
okay.
Like, at your table kind of draft. So with other people that are there on your phone and stuff like that. It would not be an on air thing.
No, what time of the year do you think? Because when you were talking, you and Chad Abbott and I were talking before the show, and you kind of mentioned that July, this is really when things start heating up for you in your business.
Yes.
When is it that you really start constantly getting tweeted or emailed or messaged in one way or another? The who should I start? The who am I getting in redrafts? What about this guy? Rookie, dynasty and Empire leagues, guillotine bits. When does that barrage start to perk up and bloom like the flowers of spring?
Tell you, there's an exact day.
Okay.
When fantasy football turns on in the minds of most. Training camp. Start of training camp. Yeah. That's it. It's game on, baby. So in, what is now about 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks, it'll be game on. It's still, like right now, Guillotine Leagues we're open. We're doing business right now. We've got multiple, lots of drafts happening right at this minute. People are drafting. But this is going to be, we're at 10% of the business we'll normally have.
Do people run the risk? I mean, if I'm drafting now, I'm drafting before potential training camp injuries. I'm drafting before potential weird trades. We got some interesting, maybe I'm taking it and stashing in Ezekiel Elliott, not knowing what team he has right now. Or, I mean, I feel like there's some risky plays when you're drafting in late June, Charch. But that's just me.
The beauty of the Guillotine League, though, let's say it's a worst case scenario. You'd take Christian McCaffrey and he snaps a femur at training camp.
Jeez.
In a Guillotine League, All you have to do is survive that first week. Don't be the 18th team out of 18th. Be 17th. And now here comes a whole other team's draft is hitting the waiver wire. Just go spend money and go get that guy's best running back. In a guillotine league, it's this no format that's better for drafting early because you can recover from a devastating event better than a guillotine league. And the other part is because there's 18 teams in the guillotine league, what are the odds it's going to happen to you? That's a 4% chance.
That's true.
6% chance. 6% chance.
I absolutely love the guillotine leagues, but I'm still so mad, and I love her, but I'm still so mad at Tatum Everett from Vikings Entertainment Network. Her team sucked, and she chopped me. And I think I finished third or something like that.
That's
I can't remember what it was.
You made it till December.
But I had we've talked about this on the Feast before. It was the Jonathan Taylor. It was the Colts game. It was the Colts game against the Vikings. Where
he got knocked out in the first series.
He caught a catch for 14 yards, didn't come back. Mm-hmm. And then we all got, obviously no one's keeping track of my guillotine league. We all get swept up, greatest comeback, NFL history, that type of thing. Yeah. Pretty interesting game. But that killed me. I got chopped because of Jonathan Taylor. A 30-0 deficit.
Worst case scenario, he's out after one touch.
And then I have to go to the facility. I have to face her. I have to go eye to eye and look at the woman who absolutely whooped my ass. I had Tyreek Hill, it was just, I was poised to cash, and she chopped me. And I'll never forget it.
The guillotine league chopping it's emotional. You remember it. It hurts because... Yeah. You're out for good.
Well, Smug Sinekin's in the mix, and it's just like his team's terrible, but he keeps squeaking by, those sorts of things. It carries weight in my heart, and all I can think about is draft day. So August 12th, you say, that is
August 12th, fantasy football training camp live at Treasure Island Casino. That'll be 10 to noon for the on-air portion, and then we'll go longer with deep dive stuff off air.
No, that's
and
true.
Some of you, if you've been to these past ones, we typically draw around 1,000 to about 1,200 people. So there's a lot of people. There's a good buzz in the room.
Well, I've seen pictures of the past ones, and usually Sauce and I are doing a show at training camp or something, so we haven't been able to go. But
no,
the place is freaking packed.
It is packed. I think it's one of the better attended live events the station does all year.
The gathering of the nerds. And it's great.
We love it. These are our people.
No, I'm not. By the way, I'm not chiding these people. I would be there as well. But it draws a freaking crowd. It's super cool.
Maybe you should gravy train our group and just do Saturdays with Sauce right after.
We could do it on site. Twist my arm. It's a Saturday. Sorry, Molly and the kids. I gotta
go to Treasure Island.
I gotta get a room. I'm sorry.
Right. I like that too.
And now that I'm here, you know what? I'm going to gamble a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to play some cards and
I want to
have a couple of beverages, hang out, the Rubes. Hell yeah. No, I'm in.
All right. Speaking of casinos, let's go to the Pauper's Palace.
Yeah, this is, you want to talk about throwaway bits. The Pauper's Palace is simply this, Charch, because it was a couple of years ago and it brought this to mind, is you went through your philosophy on futures. Mm-hmm. And it's too early. I'm not doing passing yard over and under props, those sorts of things. Not there yet. But a lot of fans love futures. And it was a few years ago. It was a 2019 season, I believe. Your hitting of the San Francisco 49ers to win the conference.
Yes.
Not to win the Super Bowl, but to win the conference. And the logic that you placed behind it. Ultimately, it was a Jimmy G to Emmanuel Sanders pass that kept the Niners from winning the Super Bowl
that year. I didn't have them to win the Super Bowl. I just had them to make the Super Bowl. And we cashed that ticket.
And you got hot on the Niners, not right around this time. I think it was months before. I think it might have been like draft or pre-draft even when you're like, trust me, the Niners are going to be fantastic.
They had picked third in the draft, and then I promptly went out and took my pick for them to make the Super Bowl.
It was an unbelievable talent.
It was a great call by me.
So we can't place legal wagers on this sort of stuff here in Minnesota. You can drive to Iowa, you can drive to South Dakota, you can drive to Wisconsin.
I think literally every border state's got it now.
I think you basically can drive anywhere, but you can't do it in your own state.
No.
Just let that sink in for a second. But instead of Caesar's Palace, I have Pauper's Palace for you. And I want to hit you with potentially some hot takes or big things that you're already in on into 2023. So I have some odds for you, courtesy of the Pauper's Palace. And I want to start with the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
So when you're walking up and you're flexing your elite mind, and I already know who you're hot on, but I don't know if you're going to get the value you want for him. I'm going to name some people in their odds, and you tell me if you're going to place a mythical 100, a mythical 500, whatever it is, who you're going to select. Now, Bijan Robinson, heavy favorite.
Heavy favorite.
At 300.
Now, Bijan
300.
Bijan Robinson is the very talented running back who was taken by Atlanta. And part of the reason we love the fit in Atlanta is that team runs the ball a lot.
Yeah.
This is a very, very run-heavy offense.
And it helps with Desmond Ridder.
And Desmond Ridder is still, let's call him an ascending quarterback. I don't think he's a gifted passer. I think they're going to hand the ball off a lot. They'll also throw a lot of dump-offs to Bijan Robinson, who comes in with some of the best ball skills of any running back we've seen. It's like Saquon Barkley level ball skills. So Robinson, gifted receiver, so he could pile up a ton of yardage. If everything breaks right for Bijan Robinson, and they use him as the workhorse back for Atlanta, which they've not used a workhorse back before in Atlanta, let me mention, but they never had Bijan Robinson. 2,000 total yards is not out of the question. He could run for 1,600. He could catch for 400 or 500. 2,000 total yards is possible for Bijan Robinson.
So this is where my question goes. When you're at the Pauper's Palace and you see those plus 300 odds, so it's 3-1. You put $100 down, he wins it. You win $300. You got Bryce Young at plus 450. Now he's the highest odds of the quarterbacks, but then you jump down to C.J. Stroud 9-1. You got Anthony Richardson 9-1, Jahmyr Gibbs with the Lions. He's 11-1. With the way you're framing that up, and bear in mind, in June, as of June 30th, 2023, you have to lay money for 6 months.
Yeah.
To wait to find out if you're correct.
And, interest rates are high right now. I can make 6%.
Are you laying any money given how heavy and how favored and how much you believe in a Bijan Robinson at just 3-1 on your money? Or are you taking a value proposition in Jahmyr Gibbs? Maybe the Lions. Lions need to get better on the ground. You're getting 11-1 on Jahmyr Gibbs. Or are you not betting at the Pauper's Palace the future of the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Charch?
Here's the problem with Bijan Robinson, who is the favorite and should be the favorite. But he's only plus 300. The real risk with Bijan Robinson is not only does he have to be the best rookie, I need a running back to stay healthy and play most of those 17 games.
Exactly.
And that is hard to pull off. There are a lot, running backs just mostly don't play that many games. They get hurt, and that could be something that derails. And I'm only
and they still have Cordero. They still have Cordero too. And
Tyler Algier came in a 1,000-yard season last year.
Can you believe? I think there were more than 15,000-yard backs a year ago. And that's what, do you look at that, Charch? And we actually got a break, and I do have a few more for you. Do you look at the fact that there were 15, 16, 17.
There were 16 1,000-yard backs last year. I don't know how you know that when I know that, but yes.
Well, no, because I've been obsessed with the devaluing of the running back position. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out, and last year you saw a resurgence of rushing offense in the NFL.
Yeah.
And part of that also similarly is that you're also seeing some mediocre quarterback play. There is, it's the conversation we have every year, which in some ways it's a Kirk talker evergreen, is that you're getting a lot of mediocre quarterback play. You got a lot of bad teams or mediocre teams in the NFL, but they can run the ball and they're effective at it. So do you see that when you see 16,000-yard rushers? Is that credence to say, now I understand why they're devaluing running backs? Or would you use that argument to say, we need a running back, and they do have value. They do have arguability when it comes to salaries, because we're seeing or have seen a resurgence in the run game.
So off of the Rookie of the Year betting conversation, I just think the reality is the short lifespan of the running backs. The effective lifespan of the running back is very short. It's 4 or 5 years for very, very good running backs like Dalvin Cook. And then the end is here.
Cross your fingers.
Yeah. You know, there are only a handful of freaks, Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith, that are able to be an effective running back in year 7 and year 8.
Peterson's still a free agent, by the way.
He is. He wants to play, by the way.
He won't retire.
Now, he needs the money, which is why he wants to play. But, you know, there's part of that. Let me give you one more Offensive Rookie of the Year idea. And let's hope it doesn't come to this.
Okay.
Our guy, Jordan Addison, is at plus 1,600.
16 to 1.
16 to 1. The scenario where he wins, tragically, is...
really bad.
Something happens to Justin Jefferson.
That's not good.
And Justin Jefferson misses half a season or 3/4 of a season. God forbid.
Don't do that to us.
But if that happens, Jordan Addison suddenly becomes a guy who could get 120, 130 balls his way. Correct. If he is as good as his draft capital would suggest. And Justin Jefferson's going to leave behind 160 targets.
Yeah.
Then suddenly Jordan Addison at plus 1,600 looks really good. His odds would immediately vault.
If he starts getting, early on, even when JJ's healthy, if he starts getting the Adam Thielen workload, those odds are going to increase as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if JJ was to, I can't even mention it. If that happens, you're going to go from 16 to 1 to plus 400.
Yeah.
In a freaking minute.
It would
something
be
to think about.
It's something to think about.
I can't
This would be an emotional hedge for everybody who loves the Vikings and loves Justin Jefferson. And you're like, okay, I'm emotionally tied to the Vikings and Justin Jefferson, but what else? How could I protect myself further financially? That's your 16 to 1 bet on Jordan Addison to win Rookie of the Year.
No, thank you. I'm too emotionally compelled. I'm uncomfortable with all of this.
When we come back, we'll continue visiting